this video, we're going to talk about writing in simplest form using conjugates. So when the denominator is the sum or difference involving square roots, we can get rid of that square root by multiplying both the numerator and denominator by its conjugate. And the conjugate of a plus square root of b is a minus square root of b. So you have the same numbers, but you're just changing that sign in the middle to be the opposite sign. And something that we are going to be using to kind of make this process quicker is that shortcut of difference of the squares pattern. And so when you have a plus square root of b times a minus square root of b, we recall from that difference of squares pattern, this is going to be the same thing as a squared minus the square root of b squared, which if you square the square root, remember that square root cancels with that square, so this is just going to equal to a squared minus b. So we're going to use that pattern in these two problems. So looking at the first one, I want to write this in simplest form. I know this isn't in simplest form right now because I have a radical in that denominator. So in order to get rid of that radical, I'm going to multiply it by its conjugate. Remember, the conjugate is going to look exactly the same, but I'm changing that sign in the middle to be the opposite. So since this one's 5 plus square root of 3, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 5 minus the square root of 3. So when I do that, I have 1 times 5 minus square root of 3 over here. Since I have a difference of squares, this is going to be equal to 5 squared minus square root of 3 squared. So simplifying that top, 1 times 5 minus square root of 3 is just going to get me 5 minus square root of 3 over 5 squared is 25 minus the square root of 3 squared gets me 3. And again, just to reiterate that the reason why that's the case is the square root of 3 is the same thing as 3 to the 1/2 squared, which if I do 1/2 times 2, I get 3 to the first, which gives me 3. And then simplifying that denominator, I get that 5 minus square root of 3 over 22. Okay, let's look at one last one. Here I have 3 over 6 minus square root of 2. My first step is to multiply it by top and bottom by its conjugate. Since this is 6 minus square root of 2, I'm going to be multiplying top and bottom by 6 plus square root of 2. And so I have on top 3 times 6 plus square root of 2 over, using my difference of squares pattern, this is going to be equal to 6 squared minus square root of 2 squared. On that top, I need to distribute that 3, so 3 times 6, I get 18. And 3 times square root of 2, I get 3 square root 2. Over 6 squared, I get 36. Minus square root of 2 squared, I get 2. And so this is going to become 18 plus 3 square root of 2 all over 34.